Welcome to Amintro Family, the podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Sammut. We hope you're enjoying the free online platform and community for family caregivers, be it through the Amintro Family app or amintrofamily.com, because it's all about helping those caring for their aging parents and relatives or friends and to connect and share experiences and access valuable resources. Our guest today is Nathalie Ferrato, who provides seniors in the U.S. with Medicare plan health solutions to suit their needs, as well as individuals on Medicare and Medicaid. Nathalie, it's good of you to join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Of course, we appreciate it. Now, before we get into how you've been helping so many people professionally, I wanted to know more about how you got into this line of work. And first off, does it have anything to do with caring for your mom and caring for your aunt?
So, I started off getting a degree in finance because my dad passed away, and I did have to take care of my mom and help her through the financial nightmare he left behind.
Yeah.
And of course, that included insurance and things like that. But basically, she just didn't have the skill set to do all the financial things he had done before. And that's common when a partner passes away, for one partner to have taken care of certain things and responsibilities, and the other partner in the family to have handled another set. And when they pass away, that becomes a tragedy of its own, right? If they don't know how to do the finances, they don't know how to pay the bills, they don't even know what bills they're supposed to be responsible for, and sorting all of that out, right? So there's a big process as somebody ages and gets into the lack of ability to take care of things in the financial and the health side. And the family has to step in and pick up the pieces because maybe the new member, it doesn't know how. It's just not in their capacity. They just never did that kind of thing. So, and then we obviously have the health issues, right? Some people decline in health. And so I had the interest because my dad passed away and it put my mother in a bad place. And I stepped in to help take care of her and help bring her along. And my brothers were a lot younger, 10 years younger. So I was there to try to help put them back on their feet. But, I realized that that was an important thing of what to do. So I started off in the financial planning field and then had my own devastating car accident. Somebody rear-ended me and I became paralyzed and helpless. So I learned a little bit to my own self what that meant to have to ask others for help. I'm not paralyzed anymore due to amazing neck surgeries that I've had.
I don't even notice anything. You look great.
Fix it. Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of great things out there still. But at the same time, it put me in the shoes of somebody who's no longer able to cut their own food to eat, and to know how that felt, to know how you can't pick up your own son and get him in the car seat today, and you had to do that, and to be relying on somebody else's generosity to step up and say, let me do that for you because you can't. And that's where our seniors end up. They can't put on their shoes today. They can't tie up the shoes like they used to. They can't even reach down to them anymore. The TV channel changer falls, they can't reach it. It's out of reach. So it gave me a little personal outlook that way. But also it made it impossible for me to continue my profession at the time as a financial planner. And I redirected into the Medicare field. By accident, actually. Somebody called on the phone one day and said, do you want to come in and train for this? And I was like, no. And if you'd asked me, do you want to be a Medicare insurance agent years ago, I'd have been like, are you kidding? But turned out that it was one of the most fulfilling and happy moments, things that I do, because I love helping seniors. And I didn't realize that in providing that kind of insurance, I was able to provide the kind of coaching and background help that they might need to help connect to institutions or support that they need for their family. I didn't even know it existed for myself, even when at the time I was going through all that. And so being able to know the resources, to understand financial planning and estate planning, and get to know people in the industry and be able to point people in a direction has nothing to do with what I do as a profession. It just has to do with what I am as a person. And that's what I really like to do, because as seniors move from great health into declining health, which inevitably happens a lot at different stages for everybody, they need a different set of support. So sometimes they need just emotional support, sometimes they need physical support, sometimes they need legal support. So there's a whole bunch of transitions, and in every area that you live in, there are different regulations as to how things are there or not there, supplied by each community. And because we don't have an infrastructure that says we're going to do everything for our senior and provide all the help in anybody's really medical system, not Canadian or American at this time that I know of, they all have some level of help, but there's a lot of gaps. We have to look to community resources, and we have to be able to know where they are and how to access them and when to ask for the help. And caregivers, I've worked a lot of years now with doctors doing talks in the Treasure Coast area in Florida, and explaining to seniors, it's okay to say that I've been caregiving for my spouse and I'm exhausted and I can't do this today. It's just too much. I need somebody's help. I can't figure this out anymore. And to ask for resources that are available in your community. Sometimes it's a council on aging in the United States. And sometimes there are just great centers like down in the Treasure Coast, the Kane Center, who provides guidance and assistance to seniors. There's Seniors for Seniors out there that are seniors working to help seniors get their groceries today. Maybe you pay a fee, maybe you don't pay a fee for the services, depending on the service you contact and reach out to and what it's for. But there are so many resources that people aren't aware are out there to even look for. So, it's really become a big thing for me. As my aunt went into the nursing home, and my mother is now 82. She's actually here with me today, but outside. But we're preparing her transition logically as well, because she has difficulties seeing when she drives. It's starting to be an issue. How do we have that conversation with our parents and say, you know what, I think you have to relinquish that driver's license? And it's not an easy one to say. It's not an easy one discussion to have, but it's a very important one. And do you really want to wait for them to have the first car accident to cross the bridge on that discussion, or do you want to have it sooner? And do you have to have it alone? Maybe it doesn't work for you to have it alone. Maybe you need to have the support of a religious community that you're part of, because sometimes they have great support systems there. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't reach out to their support systems in their own religious communities if they're a component of that. And they don't realize they're there. They attend church, but they forget there's church groups.
Yeah. But it sounds to me that, Natalie, you seem to have, through your professional experience and your personal experience, you seem to really have a vision for what someone is going to need or what they're eventually going to need. I would imagine that you would take on a client and they would get way more help than they think they're going to get from you, because you're going to go above and beyond. Am I right about that?
Yeah, that's pretty correct. I don't have a stopwatch, and I don't do the "that's not my job" talk.
No, that's not you. I can tell
Yeah,
in the 9
yeah,
minutes we've known each other that
yeah.
that's not
So
you.
so that's not me. Yeah. And actually, it became more important to me as an agent doing what I do, doing the health insurance and life insurance components and things like that. It became more important to me to be able to give more than an insurance policy, but to give guidance. And I think it came from being a financial planner and giving financial planning guidance for many years, that I just extended that when I went into the Medicare part into the proper guidance. So estate planning changes as we age. When you're younger, estate planning is about, well, if something happens, I want to leave things behind and make sure my spouse is okay and my kids are good. And not that that goes away, but as we age, then there are different technical things that have to happen, like, Maybe I didn't have a car accident and die. Maybe I'm alive, but maybe I'm not capable of paying those bills alone anymore because my capacity to remember to do it isn't there. Maybe I need someone to step in and do that. Maybe I can't go to the doctor and remember what he told me I'm supposed to do. Maybe I need you to step in as my child to do that, but I have to assign someone to do it. Maybe I don't have a child to do that. Maybe my children, I didn't have any. Maybe they don't live, they're estranged, they're too far away. There's a whole bunch of things, right? So, how do I get that help and those resources when I live alone? Sometimes I don't even have a spouse and I'm older and I live alone, and who's going to help make sure that's getting done for me? That became something I came across in my profession, and it really hurt me to think. Like, I had a client one day that said, I'm not feeling well, called me in the evening and said, I'm not feeling well, and I want you to know I have a small dog, and I'm putting the key in XYZ place. If I don't call you tomorrow morning, I want you to come out here and check on my dog, please. I almost had a heart attack. I was like,
Really?
are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Help.
Wow.
What do I do?
So, but how well did you know this
Not
client?
not that great. I mean, I knew her and done different actions and functions and seen her and I insured her, but not to the level where I felt like I could just go walking into her house.
Right. Yeah, and I'm
You know,
sure a big part of it was they felt comfortable with you, but beyond that,
I
they
didn't feel
did.
as comfortable though going into their home.
Of course, yeah, but you have a warm and inviting personality that they would have felt comfortable in trusting
Somehow.
you with
Yeah.
this task, but also they don't have very many people in their lives that they can ask to do that.
And that there was very striking to me. So that scared me because I thought to myself, well, I am a private person and I don't have a lot of people that I'd call in if I were in the same place, right? I have children in my case and that's different. But if I was in those shoes, I felt like, gosh, that's just a horrible place to be by yourself and to think I feel so bad. I'm not sure I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be able to take my dog out.
Wow, I can't imagine.
Yeah, and I thought, because it is important for seniors to have pets. It really is. It lets them live longer lives, but at the same time, I thought, gosh, it can be true. It can happen that way. And I've had many clients as they transition through their health journey, reach out and say, what do I do for this? And how do I take care of that? And where do I go to get this done? And it made me think I have to have an answer. It's not good enough to say that's not my job. And that's where I started reaching out to my community and finding out who did what, how they did it, who are the social workers. And that's constantly evolving and changing. It's not an easy answer to get. And in every community, it is different. The key is, though, reaching out. And it does start in the United States in particular with what's called the Council on Aging. So that is a federal program, and it is in every community. And the Council on Aging does reach out to know the resources. So maybe your house is broken down. I mean, I walked into some homes at times where I couldn't get up the staircase because it was broken and dilapidated and rotted and the boards were out and I'm walking on the edge with my briefcase trying not to get hurt. And then I see them greeting me at the door with a walker and I'm thinking, how do you get out?
Yeah,
I can't get up here and I'm able and you're disabled and how do you get out?
yeah. Maybe they
you
don't.
know? So I ran home to my husband at the time, who was a contractor. I'm like, "You gotta go build some stairs with the Boy
Really?
Scouts."
And so did he?
Yeah, but we didn't know all the resources at the time, and I thought, "Gosh, they're not going to be the only ones. How do we do this?"
Yeah.
And then you find out about Habitat for Humanities doing these things and willing to do that. But then Boy Scouts have to have projects. They do. To be an
Yeah.
Eagle Scout, they have to do these projects, right? So you have to find a way sometimes to say, oh, I need an Eagle Scout to do a project. Do you think they'd be interested in this kind of
That's a
project?
great idea.
You know? And they're out there looking for projects. They just need the idea of what they need to do. So getting in touch with the community Boy Scout leaders and letting them know, hey, this is something that needs to be done. Our seniors are looking for these things. Sometimes the seniors can't get themselves to ask. They just won't.
Yeah.
And the pride or the fear of being taken out of their home because they can't take care of it right. There's a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I went out to homes and found that my seniors were living worse than my horses in the stall were,
Wow.
I couldn't stand that thought. That's just a disgusting thought that our seniors are living worse than many animals are being cared for.
That's it's terrible. But I think of those clients that you've had that didn't know who they were getting in you when they would meet you. I feel this way just as the host of this show, saying, well, how fortunate are we to have some time with you right now? And I
Well,
know our
thanks.
listeners are feeling the same way and getting to hear from you. So do you feel that any one client that needs a lot of help is able to figure out all of these resources? Because I'm sure a lot of people are listening right now going,
Yeah.
I didn't know I could reach out to so-and-so or that
Right. Well,
institution
and
or
that's
this
that's the
nonprofit. I
thing.
didn't
We
know that.
don't, right? We don't, right? And
Yeah.
and if you Google the wrong search queue, Google is going to give you the wrong parameters or the wrong results.
Mm.
And with all the scammers, you'll be on the next scam hit list.
Yeah, that's true. That's
you
right.
know, so reaching out to your senior community, things like Council on Aging first is really paramount because they will direct you to safe opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they've vetted.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what they do a little different, right? They actually vet the resources. So you don't want to go out there willy nilly. And today, our seniors are high target for crime, especially financial crime. So you don't want to just go to any resource. You don't want to just do anything with anyone. You have to be careful and selective. And I have to say that's really important. Yes, you have to ask the question, but here's another thing a lot of people don't know. So I work with multitude of insurance companies, not just a carrier. And each and every one of the carriers I work with has community resource programs. So they will help you if you call the insurance company that does your health insurance, and say, I really need help in finding out resources for my community for XYZ. If the insurance company themselves doesn't provide it, because some policies do, depends on what you need, and what you have and what level of insurance you're in. But they're also very aware and very in touch, and try to know all the resources in the communities they
Mm.
serve or who to direct you to. And so sometimes even reaching out to them can reach you answers you didn't know were there.
Yeah, that's great. They'll point you in the right direction then.
Yeah, and people think of them as just bad insurance companies. And I'm like, well, they do so much more than you think.
Yeah. So do you find that? Because you're right, insurance
Yes,
companies do have bad reputations. Do you find
they
that that's the
do.
case where they
Yeah,
will
oh,
actually help you out and go above and beyond?
they have. I mean, I've been doing this for many years now. And I've been a licensed life and health insurance agent since 1991. You do the math. um, and doing only the Medicare only now for 20 years. And I can tell you, it morphs every year. It's different, but they have always put forth programs, to help educate, to help teach. They even have websites, to help their seniors play brain games and stay sharp and do online health activities. But they also have, when you call into the call centers, they have a team that will help direct you to your community resources. Almost all of them do.
Great.
It's not a perfect world. It may not have your answer today, but they have a lot more answers than you think and give them credit for. They even try to, I mean, we even had programs with certain carriers, because I can't put out the names, it's not right,
Yeah.
where the carrier was giving educational classes on how to buy your food correctly and how to read the labels and how to go grocery shopping if you're diabetic to help
That's
control your
great.
diabetes.
That's
That has
great.
nothing to do with insurance.
Yeah, that's right.
But there they are. And they do have caregiver support groups. A lot of them have caregiver, even helplines. So if you call into your insurance company and you're really frustrated with what's going on, or to the person's insurance carrier that you're caring for, and you tell them, I can't take this anymore. I need help. And they will listen. They will actually listen to you, and they're coached to talk to you and help you through. If you need a doctor, Even on the phone, a lot of carriers now have mental health therapists on phone lines. They are coached to where they can't hang up on you. If you say something like, I'm desperate, I'm thinking I have to kill myself, they're not going to let you go off the phone. They're going
Good.
to coach you and get the help you need coming to your house while you're talking on the phone. They are highly trained, even though people say it's a foreign voice, they don't understand what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, but they still have a coached up team. And the team does not do everything perfect, but they do try to reach above and beyond. And I've worked in those call centers to know. So in the beginning of the industry times, I went in the back behind the scenes, and the phones are incredibly intelligent. They actually can track you every time you call, so they kind of know what direction you need to go every time you call back.
Okay.
So if you called in and you need caregiver support, it starts to know you need caregiver support from that phone number. And
Really?
it starts to
Yeah.
feed you in that direction right away. So it's really smart. They're really smart systems today. And it's just that you have to start reaching out and saying, I need that help. So even calling your insurance carrier can help give you help or put you in a direction of the help that you need. They don't always have all the answers. It's not always a perfect solution set because people get disappointed when they don't get the answer right away they want.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can take time to reach the right people. But again, there's a lot of structure out there that people aren't aware of. And we just really need to know the first thing we have to do is start asking and saying, I need help for this. And caregiver support has become a really strong thing in the last 10 years. There are all kinds of programs out there to help in your community with caregiver support. The biggest thing is that you have to be ready to hand over the reins a little bit. So the biggest problem with a caregiver is they don't want to let anyone in to help. And they have to be ready to say, it's okay, I need help. And I'm not abandoning my spouse, I'm not abandoning my father, I'm not abandoning my mom because I can't do it all, because I asked someone else to do it for me.
I like to say you're building your team.
You're building your team, you need time off. It's a proven fact. You can't do it all. You need to build in structure like you did if you were a young parent, that you had to have date night with your spouse to get away from the kids. Well, now you need date night to get away from the mom or the dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You need to hit the reset button. Yeah. Refresh
it's
button.
okay. And it's
Yeah.
okay to allow yourself to do that. It doesn't have to be all you. It just has to be that it's well provided for. And maybe it's a community person. Maybe there's another senior, like my neighbor. She was a wonderful woman. She actually helped me when I was in my recovery from my first neck surgery with my kids because I couldn't lift my 2-year-old. And
Mm.
and then later she became a caregiver person for a friend we knew that was too old to take care of herself, and the son couldn't do it all. And she'd go sleep there at night in the house
Wow.
and be available, for that elder person to get the care they needed so, somebody could sleep.
Yeah. Wow.
Because so sometimes it's just that. It's just having a friend that can come in and be there so you can be less present, so
W-
you can
would
sleep.
Would you have learned a lot from your neighbor? I mean, I'm going back to this time where you need help, where you're the one
Yeah,
asking for help instead of the one giving it for
yeah,
most of your life.
yeah.
So, going back to that time, as much as you would have learned personally, and I want to get into that a bit more if we can, but would you have learned a lot from your neighbor about caregiving and about what people require?
Well, absolutely. I mean, for one thing, the first step is to know to ask you need help. That's the
Yeah.
hardest part for most of us. All of us, when we get to that piece where I'm invincible, and we fall from invincibility.
Were you good about asking for help?
No, no, no,
But you
no.
had to.
I was invincible.
Yeah. We all think we are, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And I was never going to need that help. I was giving everybody else the help. I was the shoulders of the family. So that's the
Yeah.
hard part. When we're the shoulders of the family, we don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
And so that's the first critical step is just being able to say, I need your help. And it doesn't even have to be a special person. It can be just your neighbor. It can be just your neighbor. And it's a surprising thing that the neighbor that you didn't really think you knew that well, if asked, can suddenly turn around into somebody. I mean, she's a lifetime friend now.
Yeah.
I didn't hardly know her at the time.
Yeah.
We were, she was new to the neighborhood, and she just was at home, and I just knew she was at home, and and available, and I thought, well, I've got to ask somebody. I don't know who to ask, but she's right next door.
Yeah. And how was
You
that
know?
friendship? Like at the very beginning when she would help you out, how
And
was that? How did that grow?
she just came in and she just was so forthcoming. She's like, "So you can't put the milk in the milk container for the kid? Let me do that. I'll set up a bunch of them so you can just give it to him till I can come back."
Yeah.
You know?
Great
And then
idea. Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, thank heavens."
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even lift a gallon of milk, and because I was disabled, that's where seniors are. They can't, the arthritis, the pain in your hand, you can't lift a whole gallon of milk. It's
Yeah.
preposterous.
My mom's the
Just
same thing.
having,
She can't
yeah,
buy a 2 liter carton. She's got to buy
no,
the
and you
smaller
can't
ones or
take
yeah.
the pot and tilt it into the bowl because your wrist doesn't want to rotate.
Yeah.
It's not that you couldn't cook it in the pot, it's that you can't get it out of the pot into the
That's right.
bowl, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
right.
silly little thing. But finding pots that are lightweight or different, changing things up that way, really can be helpful. But having somebody that can put it in a format that you can manage, becomes critical. And they don't have to be a nurse. They don't have to be knowledgeable in anything other than filling your container of milk.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever had anybody on the show that had to be cared for at one point before becoming a caregiver. While you had cared for others before your accident. So can you tell us more about just how life-changing that was for you to be paralyzed and to
Yeah, yeah.
completely need help? I would imagine, and I can only imagine, that it would have been completely life-altering in so many ways.
It was. It truly was. I try not to dwell on me so this is the hard part for me.
I understand.
I'm going to keep deflecting because that's not normal for me.
I
And
understand.
I try to stay on what you're asking.
We'll
But
jump in and out.
yeah, yeah, I went from a person who could do absolutely everything, a pretty talented horse rider. I could ride anything. I was that girl that they said no one can ride that horse. Oh, I'll do it. you know,
You even make
fearless,
horses feel comfortable.
yeah, absolutely fearless, right? Absolutely fearless individual. To a person who now couldn't, and I danced ballet. So I had a lot of self control. My body was an extreme self controlled product, right? I danced for many, many years, and ridden horses for many, many years since my childhood. So to be out of control of my body was a disaster for me. It was a foreign language because for all of us, to be in control of our body is what we do every day. We don't think about it. We don't think, gee, I have to figure out how I'm sitting up in bed today and putting my feet down and getting to the toilet.
Yeah, it's just a
How am I
thing you
going to
do.
comb
Yeah.
my hair? How am I going to take a shower? And then you have kids. I had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. How am I going to take care of them?
Yeah.
And I went from, so today we see parents that don't teach their kids to be out of diapers until they're 2 or 3 years old. Well, my kids were out of their diapers in a fast hurry because my 5-year-old had to help that 2-year-old go to the potty.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I didn't have somebody there all
So
day.
your kids grew up a little faster, didn't they?
They did. She
Yeah.
had to help him dress. If I couldn't get down there and dress him, I had to teach her how to dress him.
Wow.
So it puts you in a whole level of vulnerability that you don't know how to solve sometimes. You're on the ground and you're crying and you go, I can't get up. I mean, I literally made some phone calls stuck on the ground, flat with the baby, and going, I need someone to show up and pick me up and get my son up.
Really? Who'd you
Yeah.
call?
Well, my neighbor.
Your neighbor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because who's else available? Because even if you call your husband and he's across town, that's 30 minutes or an hour on the ground, right?
That's right.
You
Yeah.
you you don't know. You got to get somebody that could be more immediately there, and you can't call a fire department.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
know,
And
I
you're,
mean, if you really have to, yes, but you want to try something a little more convenient
that's
first,
right. And
right?
your neighbor had a key, I imagine.
Well, they didn't, but we lived in a farm community, so we didn't always lock the
Oh,
doors.
I see.
Mostly
Okay.
they weren't locked, right?
Yeah.
So the door wasn't locked, and she could come in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd have to have that set up different, if you had the door locked. But yeah, so I'd have to call her up and go, Melinda, I'm stuck. I'm on the ground. I can't get up. My back is just totally like not function. I can't get up.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and the baby's on the ground with me, so he's safe. But I need help.
Yeah. And so she came over and just
and
helped you
and so
up, took
that's
care of
it. She
everything.
just show up and be like, "Oh my gosh, let me take
Oh,
care of the baby, and
you're
let's
so
get you
lucky to
in the
have
chair."
Melinda.
And
My goodness.
yeah,
Yeah.
so to be begging somebody for that, you become very humble very quickly, because when that happens and you're in the shower and you need help and you just have to say, I can't get out of the shower right now. I need help. And you
Yeah.
have to be like, it's okay that you came in and saw me in my birthday
Yeah.
suit. So all of that, don't look at me in my birthday suit going away.
Keep your eyes up. Let's maintain eye contact throughout all this.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to just suddenly kind of put a lot of things aside. And for our seniors, that's a thing too. We don't always think about, like, here you are as a caregiver and they have to be humbled by you helping them,
Yeah.
at the toilet or dressing, and you were their kid. And that's a challenge for both ways.
Yeah. It
you know
is.
and so we have to think about that as caregivers, like, how do we even cross that bridge, how do we do that, and I think that's where having the caregiver support teams that you can talk to, because a lot of these communities have free chat groups for caregivers, just to be able to say, I can't stomach wiping their butt, and know that it's okay to say that.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that has been something that's come up, like removed from it. That can be for lack of a better description, a traumatic thing for a quote unquote child to have to do that for their parent. That's a memory that is sustaining, that can have lasting effects.
Yeah, absolutely. And being prepared to do that, and knowing that you have to do that and it's important to do that. I mean, bed sores, infections, all kinds
Yeah.
of things happen. Just because of something like not being properly cleaned, and that's really important, right? So all of these things become something that when you're handicapped suddenly and unexpectedly, that you have to contend with, the humility to do that. So it put me in a perspective to understand what my seniors were going through,
Yeah.
and some humility to understand that, because when you're all powerful and capable, you can't possibly phantom how that is going to feel. And I can say I was definitely a person who didn't know or understand that.
Mm.
Having to learn to reconstruct my body, to walking, to rediscipline it, to uh, being able to use my left arm. It took 4 years to put my arm over my head and put a shirt back on myself. To have my 7-year-old help take a shirt on that I was stuck in, and
Oh.
pull it off,
Yeah.
because I'm stuck. I can't get it off.
Yeah.
To learn that I had to get all button-up shirts, but easy buttons.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't get those little tight ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So knowing that when you go shopping for your parent, buy them the button-up shirt, because their shoulders are bad, right? Their hips are bad. You
Yeah.
gotta buy the easy to slip on clothes, not those fancy things. Get a zipper instead of some buttons. I love zipper. Look, it's a zipper shirt.
You got a zipper shirt on right now. That's right.
you know and that is easy to manipulate. Your hands don't joint, your joints don't have to do it, and learning that when we look for things, we have to come up alternatively with easy solution sets, and they don't have to be that difficult. They just
Yeah.
have to be workable, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what that did for me, is it put me in a mode that I could think outside of the box and go, wait, how can I make this easy?
Yeah,
Wait, how can we break it down and make it doable?
that's right.
And does it have to take a big fancy doctorate to figure that out?
Normally, Natalie, I would ask a caregiver that we have on the show about feelings of burnout and how to stay positive and not to minimize your efforts at this point in your caregiving journey, with your mom being with you, with your aunt being at a full-time care facility. But given what you've been through, does it pale in comparison where you still draw from those times and compare it to what you might be going through now and say, well, this pales in comparison. If I could live through that and get through that, then this isn't as hard
Yeah, I
as many
mean,
might think.
yeah, it gives you a lot of strength, but I think the most important thing is that we learn to break things down and make it doable. And I think too many times we're stuck in a routine in the way we did it versus making it doable, right?
Yeah.
So even as a caregiver, we might feel like we've got to go get that tie-up shoe and tie it on our senior, right? Well, that's hard work for both of us. I got to get
Hmm.
them to stand still. Maybe they have restless legs. The legs are moving. I can't get the darn shoe on in the first place. Then I got to tie it, but it kicked it off before I got it tied, and I'm really frustrated.
Exactly.
you know, well, they got these great slip-on shoes. Why don't you just get those?
That's right.
you know,
I've got
and
them.
yeah, what's wrong with those? Step in.
Yeah.
So we have to learn to break the mold, right? Break the paradigm that we think in as this is normal life and I can't live outside of this normal life to this is how I can make life normal easier, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't a big thing to change or lose. This is a small thing. So we used a check and we wrote our checks to pay our bills, right? Well, we automated. Like, so I'm the caregiver and it's just so much more work for me to step in and pay mom's bills. But if I automate them and then I just oversee the bank account, well, that's easy.
Yes, that's right.
Once it's
Use
done.
technology to your advantage for sure.
Yeah. So there's ways to break things up and change things around so we can make it easier, right? Do we have to be the caregiver that gave 7 days a week, or can we schedule days that we have somebody else do the thing, right? Or
Yeah.
hours, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be somebody fancy. It just has to be someone you trust, right? Somebody
Well,
good-hearted and trustworthy.
do you want to give out Melinda's number right now, or should
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
You might
We're
have a
still
Melinda in your life right now and you don't know it.
right. Yeah, no. I mean, we're still great friends. She's gotten old and gone through some health crises herself.
Yeah.
And she was older than me to begin with, but
Yeah.
she's a wonderful person. But she's actually moved away into Illinois to be closer to her son because the same thing. She's getting up in the years, and she needed
Yeah.
to be closer and make the things easier. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's up to the person who needs the care to make it easier too. There's
Yeah.
a responsibility both ways. Like, we have to think as we age, we are going to be in that situation, and we have to plan ahead and think for those who will be helping us out how to make it easy for them, like to step in. Do you have all your papers in order so that somebody could walk in tomorrow? Because we don't know. You can have a car accident tomorrow, God forbid, right? Do you have all your papers in order that someone could just step in and easily go, oh, that's the bill he pays the mortgage, that's the electric, that's the water, that's the this, that's how I can take care of that for him until he steps out? Do you have it to where they have permission to do that? Or is there no one that can do that for you? Right? If no one can do that for you and an accident happens tomorrow, your bills are not getting paid next month.
That's right. That's right. Those are the
you
things
know?
that you never think is going to happen, and then it does.
It's not going to happen to me,
Yeah.
but it did. you
That's
know,
right. That's right.
and so that's the thing, right? So we have to challenge ourselves ahead of time to prepare those things. But then on top of that, to help prepare our family and loved ones to be that way with us. In other words, where is your computer and how do I access your computer so I can help pay your bills if something happens, Mom? Um, you know, who are the friends that you have here that I can reach out and we can connect with? Because maybe they're best friends and better help than them, and they can come and help with the caregiver
Mm,
support, right?
that's right.
And it's a familiar face and they don't feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's a bridge partner they play bridge with, that they would be happy to get groceries for you. They would love that you called them because they're also a senior, but they're a capable senior and they don't have anything else to do today, and you just gave them a sense of purpose.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
like come in and stay alive and stay focused and help out because I can't do it all.
Yeah, they're watering your plants or feeding your
Yeah,
cat or
whatever.
whatever
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
Yeah. Could be
I
doing a load of laundry and folding the clothes for you.
exactly. Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's my mom, she'd love to do your laundry. Natalie, she'll come over to your place right now.
Exactly.
She'll do your
That,
laundry. She'll do your
that's
mom's
right.
laundry. I haven't asked about your mother. 82 years old. You mentioned she's just outside.
That's a,
What kind of health is she in, and what's your living situation? Like, are you
she's in
living with her?
relatively wonderful health. She
Yeah.
still has her own place, but she's starting to because I just moved a year ago,
Yeah.
and she's starting to assimilate here. So I've made her a room. She has her room, and she's now here for the month.
Yeah.
And so she's starting in bits and pieces to stay longer and longer. And I'm hoping to transition her here permanently because I don't like her down in the Treasure Coast driving in the traffic down there.
Yeah.
Up here, it's a lot quieter where I live. It's lots of hospitals and healthcare, but a lot less traffic. So I need to dial her back, and I've told her, I've already prepared with her, Mom, the driving thing isn't going wonderful for you anymore. You get lost
Mm,
a lot. Even
yeah.
with the GPS, you can't follow the GPS. You need to be able to start thinking that this is not a great idea anymore.
Yeah.
So you plant the seed gently and then you walk away and wait for it to grow a little
And
bit.
is it growing?
So I'm planting a lot and watering a lot.
Okay, it's growing. It's
It's
growing.
growing.
Well,
Yeah.
but she'll be with you more, and
Yes. And she
you'll
has
just
lived
end up.
with me in the past. So, when my dad died, initially, she lived with me for 15 years. So it's not
Oh,
unfamiliar.
okay. This isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't like going back to when you were a kid.
No.
Yeah.
So she has lived with me before because I have been there to step in and pick up the pieces before.
Yeah.
But now it's in a different capacity, right? Then she was a very independent person running around still having a party, but she just needed me
Yeah.
to help with the finances and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now, it's more her coming around on a physical side, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a different feeling because it's having to say, I can't do that like I used to do
Do you
that.
feel like you two have a really special mother-daughter relationship?
Yeah, in many ways, yeah, yeah, many capacities. We both share the love of horses, so that's a nice thing.
Ooh.
So like yesterday, I put her for Mother's Day on her horse, and I have to hold it and walk it around, because
Yeah.
she's 82 and
She's
not that
82 and
strong.
getting up on a horse?
Yeah, yeah, that's her. So her 80th
Fantastic.
birthday wish was that she was able to ride her young horse. So I started the young horse and trained it so that she could ride it for her 80th birthday. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was her thing. So I'm not a big proponent of telling someone they can't because it could be dangerous. Because I do dangerous things even though I'm physically disabled.
Mm.
I am a large proponent of saying live until you die. The
Yeah.
best way, not do it, illogically. Don't go running 200 miles an hour down the, speedway.
Yeah.
Put yourself in a safe way to do it, but
That's
don't
right.
say you can't live to do it. Maybe you're not climbing Mount Everest. Maybe you're hiking on a little tiny hill,
Yeah.
but you're still hiking
That's
because you
right.
love to do it, right? So maybe you're not riding the dangerous horse anymore. Maybe you're riding a safer horse who's trained to help. And it's been known that horses help with Alzheimer's, they help with PTSD, they help with autism. It's a known fact. So why wouldn't I help my senior mother who
Yeah.
has some mental challenges occurring to ride? Because I know that connects the dots for them, right? Keeps them alive.
And I was going to ask about the benefits of just even being
Yeah.
around a
The
horse,
horse.
because I
Yeah.
saw
And the
something
farm.
the other day on
Yeah.
television, a news report or something like that, and they talked about the reduction of anxiety for many people that
Yeah.
it could be those that have gone through, like you talk about PTSD through war or what have you. And
All those things. And they
it,
have caregivers too.
like
Caregiver support happens at that level.
that's right. So caregivers are perhaps they're just loaded with anxiety. Being around a horse, there are some horses that are so special they'll take on they'll reduce that for you. They'll suck that in. They'll take that away from you.
They do. Yeah, they're very powerful beings, as are dogs. So I have my one dog is trained as a service dog. He's certified. And it's interesting when my mother's around, he's not my service dog, he's hers. He steps right up. He's right up there going, I gotta watch her.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's great. I love
you know,
that.
and he didn't have to tell him. He's just instinctively right on her. He won't let anyone near her. Like if a delivery person comes, he's right between her and them. I notice he positions himself automatically. He's like, oh, grandma, wait, oh, danger.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
great.
So he's a wonderful Dutchie. And so I've relinquished my service dog to being my mother's. And I kind of told her that. I said, well, because I have a second dog and I'm training her. And I said, Mom, I think you have to accept my dog as your service dog. He loves
You
you.
are the caregiver. Look,
Yeah.
you are turning to your dogs in growing your team,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
caregiving team for your mother.
Yeah, and he does, and they have a way of making you have to keep functioning even though you want to start shutting down. Like, so a lot of seniors today, it's an interesting thing, right? We saw teenagers get caught into their technology,
Yeah, that's right.
and guess what? Our seniors are too.
Mm, really?
Did you know that?
No, I wouldn't have thought
No.
that. I never gave it any
Yeah,
thought.
so some of them are getting caught. They can now gamble
Mm,
on there.
yeah,
It's an
and they might be
addictive
just be looking
gambling.
for a connection, right? Something to do.
They're looking for connections. That's how they're getting frauded.
Yeah,
They're looking for YouTubes. They go on YouTubes to watch the videos because that
mm,
gives them another life.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and so they're doing a lot of this. And you'll go to the doctor's office and see the seniors doing stuff on their phone, and you're like, wow, I thought that was a teenager problem.
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
Yeah, but they don't know how to do everything. They're not eloquent, but they find the path to doing some of the things, because those advertisers are great at making it work
Oh
easy.
yes. Oh yes. If they can do it with kids, they can
And
do it with
so
seniors.
even buying is a problem, right? They're overbuying on the phones and things like
Mm,
that.
yeah.
Because they learn they can't go to the store anymore. They learn to use Amazon, and they're not the parameters of don't buy today because my budget doesn't allow are kind
Mm,
of broken down because I have the Amazon credit card.
yeah. Well, we talk about like on one
Yeah.
hand how seniors need to be more familiar with technology, that they're falling behind in the times, but I suppose the pendulum could swing the other way as well.
There are both, and my mother is not technologically savvy, but
Mm,
I've had to tell her, Mom, for your eyes to be on your phone watching that many YouTubes, it's unhealthy.
hmm. That's
It's
right.
really bad, you
That's
know.
right.
But so I could keep saying that, and she doesn't listen to me. Oh, that doesn't sound like a teenager at all. Um, and then I can just say, oh, would you mind checking the waters for the horses? I'm not sure if they got bugs in there or if it's too hot. And just giving her a simple task like to do something like that keeps her from being locked down on that thing.
Yeah, deflecting. You're good at it.
Yeah. So
Deflecting.
so so that's exactly it. So I'll just be
Yeah.
like, let's just go over here and do this thing here. I'm really busy. Do you mind taking care of this piece? And it's a simple piece for her to take care of. But the most important thing for seniors is to be able to keep their brain functioning, and responsibility does that. No responsibility shuts them down.
That's right.
And that's the problem, right? So the more you do too much for them, the worse it gets. You
Yeah.
have to keep the brain functioning. So the same thing when I was recovering, that's a piece that I learned, is that people would say, well, you shouldn't do that. You're disabled. You should file disability permanently and get help from the government, and then your medical would be all paid. And I looked at the doctor when he said that, and I said, well, then just put me in my grave.
Mm,
And he said, huh? I said, yeah, if I admit disability emotionally to the government,
yeah.
I admit that I'm no longer functioning in society, and I can't do that.
Well, I hear that, but I have a feeling one way or another you would be putting yourself to good use and helping a lot of people in a
So,
number of different ways.
but see, what I did is I didn't file it, so I didn't do it, and I still haven't. Um, what I did is I kept fighting to find a way to do it. That's how I became the Medicare agent. That I can't do 17 hours at the computer as a stockbroker, but I can do the hours I need to do for the season of the Medicare enrollment.
Yeah.
That time of year is tough on me physically, but I have learned to do things differently, right? Because computers are actually the worst thing I do physically. They're the most painful, bad thing to do for a bad cervical spine.
You got to be upright and moving around, right?
Yeah, yeah. You got to
Yeah.
be constantly moving, right? So
Yeah.
seniors do too. Seniors need to move.
Yeah.
So we're in the same boat that way. I'm like a senior. They say, "Well, I can't sit," and I'm like, "Yeah, neither can I. Sitting too long is bad. Standing too long is bad. Laying down too long is bad. Anything too long is bad, right?"
Yeah.
So I have to be up and moving and doing. Well, it's really not fun to have no task. And so what I learned in my disability was that I had this wonderful horse who I had already trained and ridden for years. He was a stallion. Oh, don't have a stallion around a disabled person. Lies. And he stood there, and I couldn't even hold a brush in my hand. But I had to
Mm.
take the other hand to help the hand.
Yeah, and you found a way.
And then I couldn't move my arm. Remember, it was disabled. It couldn't come
Right.
away from my body, but I had to rehabilitate it after the surgery. So I would have to take the brush, put it in the hand, and then take the other hand to help it hold it, and then help guide it to brush the horse's body. Now I couldn't lift and do all the body and all the parts, but at first it was just do this. Can you do this?
Right.
And for the senior, it's kind of the same thing, right? Well, I understand you can't do all of this, but can you do this?
Yeah. Right.
Don't clean the whole kitchen, but can you wipe the counter?
It's something.
Yes.
Yeah. Start somewhere.
And by keeping the activity level, I built the activity level back so that I could eventually do this.
Yeah.
But that took 4 years. I'm not kidding you. This took 4 years.
Raising your arm, yeah, above your head.
Okay.
Well,
So
Natalie, go ahead. Yeah.
So that's the key, is to keep functioning and keep the senior functioning. And as a caregiver, don't take away everything. Try to find ways to keep them functioning so you still get a break. Let them be still responsible. Even though you want to take over and do everything, you're actually not helping by doing the pieces they still can do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice, Natalie. And what a unique perspective we've been able to gain through you, Nathalie Ferrato. Our best to you, of course, to your mom, Melinda, if you can connect with her and thank her for being a part of the story, and to all your animals as well, and to your aunt. Natalie, really appreciate your joining us, and it's great to meet you. Thank you for this.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for your time and for everything you guys are doing. I think it's fabulous that you guys put this all together to try to help caregivers. And obviously, you're a resource that more people need to know about and get connected with. And I think it's fabulous. And I think if insurance companies knew you existed, they'd direct people to you.
Well, hey, maybe that'll be something that happens in the future down the road. We're just trying to help people. Natalie,
it's a good
thank you
thing
so
to
much.
do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
All
great,
right.
beautiful day.
You too. I'm Jeff Sammut. This has been another episode of Amintro Family, the podcast, which you can hear on the Amintro Family app and wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out AmintroFamily.com. And a reminder, we want to hear your stories on the forum, and we can share them here as well on Amintro Family, the podcast.